A guten Shabbos Kodesh. Parshas Shlach. Tavshinayin Test 5779. From Yerushalayim HaKodesh. Parshas Behaloischa. In Chutz La'aretz. And Be'etzem, the Kasha starts with the Rashi that connects both Parshas. Torah starts off this week's Parsha. We discussed the story of the Meraglim, and the Torah discusses who could be sent to Eretz Yisrael. The Rebbeinu Shalom seems like chose specific people, Anshe Kodesh. Nivchuru al pi Hashem. Moshe Rabbeinu was masking and chose these people to be the leaders of Klal Yisrael, that we're going to go into Eretz Yisrael and to come back and tell us all about it. And Rashi says, Rishoyim alalu. When the pasuk says Sadiqim, there's the lashon of the pasuk, the word of the pasuk. What does the pasuk say? Yeah. Second. Shlach lecha anoshim Yasuras Aretz Kenan Asher Ani Nosim L'Bnei Yisrael Ish Echad L'Matei Aveisav Tishlechu Kol Nasi Bahem Yishlach Oisa Moshe Midbar Paran Al Pi Hashem Kulam Anoshim Roshei Bnei Yisrael Ema. The leaders of Klal Yisrael. Yet Rashi says the fact that they can come back and say what they said, Rishoim alalu, these wicked Rishoim that saw what happened at the end of Parshas Behaloischa when we discussed the Ma'aseh Miriam, and she said the Lashon Hara and got the tzaras. So they should have seen what happened and learned the lesson about what happens who speaks Lashon Hara. How did they stoop to such a level? Become these Rishoim is my question. Rashi calls them Rishoim. Chazal called the Meraglim Rishoim, yet the Torah says there, Al Pi Hashem, the Roshei B'nei Yisrael him. These are holy Gedolim. What is going on? Rishoim Gedolim. Roshei B'nei Yisrael, Rishoim. What happened? What's going on here? Now, a person might say, well, Rashi answered. He said, what do you mean? They saw what happened, and yet they still came back and spoke the Lashon Hara. So, not that many years ago, in Europe, 150 years ago, you had holy courts in Badichev, in Munkach, and all kinds of Heilige Talmidim of the Baal Shem, and these people lived Yiddishkeit. And they had Talmidim who learned by them that Noach got swallowed up by Haskalah. We're going to call them Rishoim Alalu. You saw the Rebbe. You saw the excitement. You learned in the mirror. You learned in Slobodka. You're learning in Slobodka. How are you writing notes on Shabbat? Like, what's going on in here? Rishoim Alalu. What happened to the Yetzer Hara? What happened to the Yetzer Hara? Now, of course, we know in halacha When it comes to yayin nesech, wine that's touched by someone who's an Ovid Avodah Zarah, it becomes yayin nesech. You can't drink it. And it's brought down in Allah that someone, a Jew, who's Rahman al-Islam Mechal Shas, and he goes and touches the wine, then it becomes yayin nesech. Says Ramosha Feinstein, that's the Jew who's being Mechal Shabbos because he's an Ovid Avodah Zarah. But in Ramosha Feinstein's time, no. They're not Ovid Avodah Zarah. They're not Oimik bin Nesayin. They're not withstanding in the Nesayin of their Parnasa. Remember, we're talking about it in a world in America where a person who didn't come to work on Shabbos had to find a new job the next week. And because it can't be Oimid in their Nesayin, they believe in Hashem. But they're having a Nesayin that they're not being Oimid in. So such a person is not, just because he's in Mechal Shabbos, he's not an Ovid Avodah Zarah. And if he touches the wine, it's not Yain Nesech. And we could probably say the same thing with Sahab Nebuch, what we see today. So many teenagers, unfortunately, they're not Oimin bin Esayin of Shabbos. And maybe it's the Nesayin of their phone, the technology, whatever it is, but they're not even Avodah Zarah. That's a stretch. So Rishonim Alolu, but these kids, they went to yeshiva. They know what Shabbos. Rishonim Alolu. So we have to understand a little bit. The Rishonim Alolu here. And it's obviously not what meets the eye. So for that, we're going to jump in a little bit to Tzaddik HaKohen, Pri Tzaddik. Reb Tzaddik tells us, and he asks, he says, these people, he brings down from the Medrash Rabbah, they were B'nai Adam Gedolim Hayu. They were huge, Gedolim, holy people. Elosh Osu Atzman Kisilim. They maybe you can read Medayik and say that they made themselves foolish. Aleihem Omar Moshe, and it was on them that Moshe said, Kidor had Ta'afeicha Sema, Banim Layaman Ba. Shenivcheru Mikol Yisrael. These people were chosen from all of Klal Yisrael. Mipi HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Umipi Moshe Sheken Ksiv, Vayitev Adama. Mikan, we learn from here, Shahayu Tzadikim Bifnei Yisrael. Ubifnei Ma. Shenimlach BaHaKadosh Baruch Hu Al Kol Echad VeEchad. They were the Melech, the Malchus of Klal Yisrael. V'Omer Loi Re'uyim He. And Moshe, Kadosh Baruch Hu said, these people are Roi. U'minai. Al Pi Hashem. V'achakach V'soif Mem Yoim. And after 40 short days, Nahavchu, they got switched around. V'tzarech Lahavin, and we have to understand, Sh'anashim Gedolim Ke'elu, that these great people like these, Shahayu Tzadikim Ifnei Yisrael. They were tzaddikim in front of Klal Yisrael. Umifnei Moshe ve'HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ve'HaKadosh Baruch Hu Amar shehem ra'oyim ech yatzu diba. How did these words come out of their mouths? V'yomer sheker. How were they able to say this sheker about Atzinu HaKadosh? How is it possible that Gedolei Olam, Talmidei Chachamim, could have done such a thing? Zokt Zohar HaKadosh, Amru, Ey Ya'alun Yisrael Aaron Esaber Anon Milohi Rishin, Umini Moshe Rishin Achinut, Aval Be'ara Lo Niski, Tzarech Lahavim Meno Yodei Shebe'eretz Lo Niski. וצריך להבין מנו יודע שבארץ ישראל לא יהיו ראש. They got nervous and they said, when we're going to get to Eretz Yisrael, we're not going to be the heads anymore. We're not going to be the leaders. So they didn't want. They didn't want that we should go to Eretz Yisrael because they would lose their leadership rights. Gam! How's it possible that tzaddikim like these people, yishakru, that they're going to lie? That they're going to lie because of their negiyas, that Eretz Yisrael, that in Eretz Yisrael, they're not going to be the leaders. We have to understand, we see though that after the 40 years in the Midbar, the Jewish people ate man, and they drank from the be'er, so that this ruchnias should go into their body. Where is the water coming from? The middle of the rock. What was the source? If you put a sink and you throw it into the ground in the middle of a desert where there's no pipes, you could turn the faucet all you want, there's nothing coming out. Where's the water coming from? The food. No one irrigated the land. No one was planting and seeding and harvesting and watering all the processes that go into the making of this food. No one was doing that. They were eating man that came down ready-made from Shammai. And they drank this water that the source was who knows where. It came from Shammai. They can become infused and it can be part of their DNA, this kedusha. The whole high and the Zohar in Parshas Shlach says Kedin Mizbarich b'me'ei, so we can have the bracha in our intestines. Eskati b'chachma ilah, so we can get filled with this knowledge. V'al derech ikra in dor deya, and that's why this generation of the Midbar is called the Dor Deya. They understood. They understood because they had this going into their insides daily. In Kozeh, now they're all on this high level. This is Moshe Rabbeinu saying to them. And after 40 years, Moshe Rabbeinu, in the Midbar, Moshe Rabbeinu is telling them, it's not because you're the good guy, and it's not because you're the best, because you're completely straight and honest with yourself. It is because the goyim are bad people, and they don't have the schus to stay in Eretz Yisrael. Therefore, you're getting it. So that we can keep up this thing. We're talking about the Anshe Kodesh, right? The Tzadikim, the Gedolei Olam. They knew this. They knew Sheyadu. They understood Shehem Rashi B'nai Yisrael. They knew that the leaders of Klal Yisrael, Shebola Eretz Yisrael, V'hergishu, and they felt Shebitzid Kasam in their righteousness. Einam Kedai L'Reshes HaGoyim. They're not going to be able to conquer these goyim. Umized donu kal v'chaymer. They made a kal v'chaymer. They made a lumdus. L'shar Yisrael. For all the other klal, you're getting in klal Yisrael. Shebavadai einam kedai. They too won't be kedai. It's their schus, and in their schus, they won't be. We won't be able to conquer Eretz Yisrael because our kedusha is still not on a level higher than the Rishayim of the guy. Sagoyim Gamkin Atayin Lo Shalem Avoina Hamayri Shaloi Nismali Sasam, Atayin Lachain Lafis Farasam Zu, as his Zu Amru, Sheyev Shaliknais, it's Miyad. They felt, and we couldn't go in right away. Aval Zeh Hayachasar, Shayachasu Lahem Ha'emuna B'Shleimus. They were missing the belief in the shleimus of a person. They were missing the shleimus in understanding, in realizing in the value of a kedusha of every individual. Shleimus Adam. You know that the Rambam tells us in Hilchos Talmud Torah, if I'm not mistaken, in Parak Hey, Halacha Yud Beis, in Hilchos Talmud Torah, Kishem Shach, a Talmud Chayev L'Chabed Rav, just like a Talmud is Chayev to be Mechabed his Rebbe, Kach Harav Chayev L'Chabed Talmidei. The Rebbe has to be Chayev his Talmud. That seems a little strange, right? Because who knows in whose chus you know the Torah you know. Maybe you know the Torah you know is because you have this Talmud here who has a chus to hear it. And because you're his Rebbe, you understand it to be able to give it to him. Who knows in whose chus you have this Torah? We look sometimes at people around us who maybe act a little different than us. And sadly, due to whatever the situation in life is going on, they're faced with nisyonis that we cannot possibly fathom to understand and imagine what gets in the way between them and doing the Ratzon HaBayir. And on the outset, this guy's being Mechal Shabbos and this guy's being Mechal Shabbos. What's the difference? Mechal Shabbos, you touch my wine, it's Yayin Nesach. However, Moshe Feinstein understood that there's a difference. They granted they're both being Mechal Shabbos. But one's being Mechal Shabbos because he's an Ovid of his own, he doesn't bring B'rei Olam. And that there's a Mechal Shabbos who's not Omed in the sign of keeping Shabbos. And there's a very big difference between the two. Very big difference between the two. And granted, and we're not going to excuse the terrible things that come out because of people who are not imid in their in whatever the nisyon is that they're going through. We're not excusing the wrong that's getting done. The Chilul Shabbos. There's a din v'cheshbon that will happen for that. And the Rebbeinu Shalom will have to Kaviyachol explain and help these individuals understand why they had to go through the Nisayan that they went through. And they're going to say, Rebbeinu Shalom, you put me in a Nisayan and you didn't give me the kalim to be able to withstand it. I was never shown the beauty of Shabbos. Why should I keep Shabbos? I never understood what Shabbos was. No one ever told me. They just told me, you can't do this and you can't do that. But Shabbos is Geshmak. Shabbos me'in kol bracha. He is Mekara bracha. No one ever sat with me and explained to me the words of Rav Shlomo Alka, but it's Likos Shabbos l'chul benelcha. Kihi Mekara bracha. It's the source of all blessing. You want good in your life, you keep Shabbos. No one ever explained that to me. They just told me I can't do this and I can't do that, and I have to do this and I have to do that. But to live with it, no one ever explained it to me. So at a certain point, it's just like it becomes Dvarim Ba'alma, it becomes Rogil. Cook explains it's not shot when we see these neshamas kedoshim that they're going against the old way, the old derech. It's that you have one conversation with them, a real conversation. You see how deep, how thirsty they are for something so much deeper than what's being offered to them. They're thirsty for a Coke and you're giving them water. They're thirsty for water and you're giving them a muddy water. They want to do Lishmaya's Divrei Hashem in the real way, but it's not being passed to them that way. For 40 years in the Midbar, we got the mun, the water. That's what we ate, because that's what we needed to be infused with before getting into Eretz Yisrael. In the Midbar, being formed as a nation, it had to be formed into our DNA. That Einoi Milvada. And whatever we have is coming from Kudsha Brichu. We have food, it's from Hashem. In the Midbar, it was more obvious. You come to Eretz Yisrael, you have to start planting the land, you have to keep mitzvah shmita and make sure Kalayim doesn't happen, and you have Arla and Peya and Demai. All kinds of wonderful mitzvahs. Ma'aser Anim, Ma'aser Sheni, Ma'aser Bikurim, all kinds of wonderful mitzvahs that are totally in the planting and the making of the food. Then you have the meats, the shchitas, the malicha, the sagidim, all kinds of mitzvahs that go into just prepping the food to be able to eat it. But when we realize that it all comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that emunah, then we can understand when we see in our own lives that everything is coming from HaKadosh Baruch Hu and there's nothing else. There's emunah shleima. Then we can understand that that person, the Nisayan he's going through, is a Nisayan that was given to him by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He didn't ask for it. And believe me, he doesn't want it. We just want to do what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants from us. And sometimes that's hidden beneath the surface. And instead of getting upset, maybe, at the person who's the Mechalel Shabbos, can't be Mechalel something that you don't know the value of. But if the person who's Mechalel Shabbos touches your wine, instead of blowing a cow and a hisket and a pasket, why don't you inspire him to keep the Shabbos? So someone else doesn't have to get upset and have a conniption. Why can't we inspire and understand? Look at people and believe in their Kedusha. Because we have no idea how much and how valuable in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the Shabbos of someone who struggles for years to keep Shabbos, and finally he kept that first Shabbos. Do you know how valuable that Shabbos is in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? All the years he didn't keep Shabbos, and then he kept that Shabbos. And a second one, and a third one. Do you know how valuable this Yid's Shabbos is in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? For someone who never had an assignment to break Shabbos, it's very nice. You never were Mechalel Shabbos. But did you really keep Shabbos? Or you went through Shabbos? This guy struggles with Shabbos, and he makes it through that Shabbos. Can you imagine the start? Can you imagine the einig it brings to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? The Meraglim were Gedolim Hayim. They were big people. And they heard Moshe Rabbeinu saying that it's not in our Klal Yisrael's schools that we're going to get Eretz Yisrael. But it's because the Rishayim, the Goyim, they're Rishayim. They're not zeichet to keep it, so we're going to get it. And they said, we don't discuss, it must be no one else does. Whoa. 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 He may not know as much Torah as you. But do you know what the value of his putting on tefillin in the morning is? In the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Do you know the value of this person's being honest in business? The value of a person who's struggling financially, and he walks by an ATM machine, and all of a sudden a card and 3,000 shekel pop out of the machine because somebody must have thought he lost his card and money, and he was going to go to the bank tomorrow to get it. And this person's in a very big financial tight situation. Do you understand the schar, the hana that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has when he sees such a thing? When a person after a long day, not sleeping the night before, and after 20-something hours, he goes out and he goes to daven Amayra. Do you know what that means to the Rebbeinu Shalom? Now, he may not be learning all day, and he may not be the biggest lamdan. But you know what? He has his nisyonis, and he's being oimid in them. Because this is what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants me to do. We'd say, we want to do it. We're not always matzliach. Sometimes the Yitzhahara wins. Yes. But we want it. That's what we want, and that's where our heart is. That's what it means in Emunah. To understand that I'm going to do whatever it takes. Because that's what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants. And if I fail, I could accept it and start over tomorrow again. Sheva Yipol Tzadik V'Kam. But to come back and speak negative and sheker because I don't believe in the value of someone else. Now we understand the pshat and the Rashi. The Shalom Alola. Shall be zeich to see the value in ourselves. Have a good, healthy self-esteem. Count how many times we were in this in a day. And understand that there are people who may act and look different than us. And we're not excusing the times that they weren't Aymin bin Asayan. But the times that they were Aymin bin Asayan, the value of that, we have no idea how heilig that is in the eyes of Hashem. And we daven that not only that we should be Aymin in our nisyonis, but that other people should be Aymin in nisyonis, so that they can have the kedusha. I just heard a wonderful speech, and I wasn't going to say this, but I just heard a beautiful speech that there was a boy from a single family home, a single parent home. The father wasn't in the picture, and the boy was acting up in yeshiva. And the Anhala had a meeting amongst themselves, and they decided that it's not kedai to bother the mother because there's nothing she can do to change the situation. And so they decided they're not going to talk to the mother about the situation. They're going to try to work it in-house. And the kid got so crazy that they couldn't handle it in the school. They called the mother, come pick up your son. She said, I don't understand. Why didn't you call me? And the principal very apologetically says, we spoke it over and we felt it's not worth to bother you for something you couldn't do. She said, but I could have davened for my son. That I could have done. You took that away from me. You can't do that. We're going to Ramicha Yehuda Lefkowitz right now. They came to Ramicha Yehuda, and Ramicha Yehuda heard them out. And he said, she's right. He told the yeshiva they have to take him back in. Because you can't take away her tefillah. So when we see people not being that maybe aren't being in front of us, the least we could do is daven that they should be Aymin bin Isayin, so that they do get to the level of Kedusha, so that we all should get to the level of Kedusha, and in that level of Kedusha we'll be able to get over the levels of the Goyim that shouldn't be Zeicha to have any control and any access, and then don't think because Medina is Israel, they're in charge, they have the whole world bothering them, what they could and can't do. They're not in charge. It should be Zeicha to have a Geula Amitas. Very amazing. We'll all see. The Amech. Kulam Tzadikim. Le'olam Yirshu Haaretz. Thank you so much for listening. As always, have a look at Lisa Shabbos. Any questions, comments, or feedback, you can leave them in the comment section below.